Now, it's a sad day for Iran as they lost their President Ebrahim Raisi. And if you're from East Africa or any Swahili-speaking nation, I'm sure if you try to say this in Swahili, it sounds very interesting. Because in Swahili, Rais is president. So Raisi has passed on. And this happened on Sunday evening when the helicopter he was traveling in crashed in some mountainous region in the said country. So the helicopter was actually carrying President Raisi, his foreign minister Hussein, and 6 other passengers and crew. President Raisi has been a hardliner who has been seen as a potential successor to the Iranian supreme leader Ayatollah Ali. Now, in Iran, the president is powerful, yes, but the most powerful leader is actually the supreme leader, who's currently Ayatollah Ali. President Raisi had been seen as a potential successor because they both agreed on so many issues with regards to foreign policy and the use of different nations across the world and different issues actually that affected Iran. They were on the same page. So having the president being 63 was looked at someone who would take over from as a successor to the supreme leader Ayatollah Ali. So Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, that's the full name, holds the ultimate power with a final say on even issues to do with Iran's nuclear program. President Ebrahim Raisi had a lot of support from the supreme leader, hence why a lot of people believed he was the candidate that was going to take over after Khamenei would maybe die or retire or something. So Ayatollah, the supreme leader, has officially appointed the vice president whose name is Mohammad Mokba as the interim president. And under Iran's constitution, this can only happen for a period of about 45 days because an election has to happen within 50 days. So Iran is set to go for an election in the next 50 days when now they elect their next president. As it is, they didn't have any proper candidate who was as powerful as Raisi. Hence, that whole thing is now causing a lot of talks on the global space and even in Iran, with people concerned on who takes up from Ebrahim Raisi, and if whoever takes up will be on the same page as Ebrahim has been with the supreme leader, because the supreme leader has a bigger say on a lot of issues. So, as a president in Iran, then you need the support of the supreme leader if it's to be impactful in whatever means or capacity. So Raisi died at the age of 63 and had been president since 2021. So there was an election that was upcoming and he was set to retake a rerun. But with his death now, that's an open chance to anyone else or other people in Iran country who are in the political sector who have a big say in politics. So following the death of Raisi, there have been a lot of conspiracy theories. Number one of what could have killed him, what would have happened to the helicopter, despite a lot of concerns about the bad weather, because even the rescue mission took more than 12 hours after to declare him dead. They took more than 10 hours to find the remains of these people who are in this chopper and also the remains of the helicopter itself. So the issue of weather was a concern, but again, in politics and especially for aircraft accidents, they say people don't just die on planes anyhow, especially if you're in the political scene and if you're a leader of a nation such as the Iran. So part of the conspiracy is actually the blame is on Israel and the United States. And of course, these are key suspects and they are outright enemies. So there's no question as to why these two nations would be blamed for this accident, even when the results haven't been found. The fact that these two nations, the US and Israel, are enemies to Iran plays a key role in why a lot of people are looking towards that side as the key suspect for this accident. President Raisi was actually was aboard the US-made Bell 212 helicopter. So the helicopter was US-made. So there's a lot of suspicions that US could have been behind it, somehow doing the arrangements behind the scenes. And Iran's former foreign minister by the name Javad Zarif claims that US is one of the main culprits of yesterday's tragedy due to sanctions of aircraft and aviation parts to Iran. So Iran has been against Israel, and with these attacks that have been going on, they were actually sanctioned by the US. So part of the sanctions came with importation of spare parts for aircraft and aviation parts. And from this minister, it may be maybe the helicopter that the president was using was due for service or needed some parts for repair, or maybe had been repaired, but not with the original parts from the US. Maybe they imported from some other manufacturer who's actually not maybe the original manufacturer. So with this in mind, then that could be one of the areas, conspiracy theories that US is behind it. The minister also added that this accident will be recorded in the list of US crimes against the Iranian people. This comes at days after Iran had an attack on Israel, and remember, Israel is highly supported by the United States. So that's why Iran's former minister is saying that it goes to the list of crimes against the Iran people by the United States. The other suspect is Israel, for obvious reasons, and this is usually the Mossad. Mossad is usually the Israel's national intelligence agency, which is also suspect for obvious reasons. Remember, a lot of, even before we get to the commentary on it, a lot of Mossad happy comments have been are all over social media since this incident happened. And this raises a lot of questions. Why is it that a lot of Israel supporters are happy that the Iran former president is dead? So this raises questions, or rather could confirm the suspicions that maybe Israel was behind this. And we can only wait and see how investigations into this accident end up, or the report that comes from this. So Israel, however, there's an Israeli official who told the Reuters that his country had nothing to do with the helicopter crash that killed Iran's president. You know, it's interesting when the report hasn't been done to find out what happened, but already an official from Israel took to Reuters to say that they were not responsible. Like, why would you be so quick to give a response if innocently Israel is not behind it? I don't know. I highly now also feel that this was a quick comment to an accident. If they had nothing about it, then he shouldn't have commented. But with this comment, then that opens a Pandora's box in terms of who killed the Iranian president and why. So remember, a few weeks ago, Iran had launched a drone and missile attack on Israel. And this attack was actually Iran's revenge mission after Israel bombed their consular building in Damascus somewhere in April 1st. President Joe Biden actually said that US forces helped take down nearly all the drones and missiles fired by Iran at Israel. Again, this is a confirmation that the two nations, that is Israel and the US, have been working together for long. It's no secret, it's known. If they could help them ensure that this mission that was being carried out by Iran was not going to take place, and the president actually of top of one of the world's most powerful nations comes out and says, we actually helped end this attack, then it's obvious. So if this attack of the Iran president is by, let's say, Israel, then it means US is in the loop. If it's by the US, Israel is in the loop. That's inevitable. You can't, there's no way you cannot see that by any means. So something else to note is, remember that the Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico faced an assassination attempt about a week ago. So the Slovakian Prime Minister is a key ally of Russia's President Putin, and this attack may actually have emanated from his support. There is suspicion across the geospace politics that European service secret, or maybe the CIA, were actually responsible, are the ones who actually wanted to to assassinate the Slovakian Prime Minister because of his support for Russia, and he outright speaks about it without, hiding anything. So world powers operate as cartels. This is how superpowers generally operate, as cartels. So if you see, let's say Israel is behind this, you know that there are other allies who are the US are part of it. So when this when the Slovakian Prime Minister faced an assassination attempt, just know that if it was the European Union or European nations behind it, then also the US was behind it. and maybe other nations that, the allies keep growing and growing. So there's many people who are behind it. Something that came to mind when I was reading at the different conspiracy theories behind this accident, when former Russia's opposition leader Alexei Navalny died, the powerful nations, or the good guys who are considered to be good, came out and blamed Russia's president, Putin, for the death or assassination of Navalny. Now, why was it so obvious for these nations to come out and call out Vladimir Putin as the person behind the assassination? It's because they believed no way Navalny would have died a natural death, number one. Two, they believed that since they were key enemies, then it was only possible that he killed him. In this case, for Iran, the powerful nations like the US and Europe and all these powers, they are silent about who has killed Rais and for what interests. Because up to now, the interests, how we will know who killed this is the interest. Who was against Iran and why? And why were they against Iran? Number one, also, Iran was a supporter of Russia in some way. So if anyone was an enemy of Russia, they could be starting somewhere. So they would have killed the president of Iran, targeting all these people who support Russia or something of the sort. That's just how politics murky it gets. So in this case, I really want to know, and I'm watching all these theories just to find out who killed President Rais. Is it the US or the CIA because they remain a key suspect, or is it Israel? And if all these things come towards the key targets who are those two nations, then why did they have to kill him at this moment? That remains a big question. You can share with us in the comment section what you think or feel from this accident. Do you actually believe it's a natural death? Do you believe it was just a weather issue? Or do you believe there's the powers that be behind the scenes who are running this whole operation? Share with us in the comment section, and remember to follow us, subscribe, and share our videos with your networks, and keep watching. Thanks for watching.